All right. So in this lesson, the goal of this course was for me to give you guys an understanding from how to get a client A to Z. So how to find a client, how to prospect, how to get leads, figure out what to even pitch them, how to build out a scope, how to send proposals, how to just even be professional and communicate with your potential clients. Okay. So I wanted to tell you guys this is probably an underrated process of when you're dealing with clients or trying to sign someone, and it's something I think is pretty underrated. I think it's really important if you do it correctly, this could honestly help you close more deals, in my opinion, and in my experience. So after the sales call, once they say yes, either whether you close them on the call and they're like, yes, just send me over the proposal, I'll look over it and like let's get started, or they're gonna say on the sales call, okay, like they might have some sort of objection, or they just want to be able to like see it on paper. Like a lot of people are like that. They just want to see what exactly they're going to get, what deliverables, all that type of stuff. And so it's important for you to be able to go and take the information you just had on that sales call, figure out what their end desire is and what they actually want, and explain how you're going to get that through them based on these deliverables and like based on the scope. So that's why I think it's really important that you spend, have a good like template or have a good framework of building out a scope. Okay, so let me give you an example that is like, yeah, it's a scope, but it's not probably the best. Okay, and then I'm gonna give you an example of a longer one. I'm gonna give you an example of like a shorter one. It's okay, it does the job. Is it convincing me? Probably not, but like if you already have closed them and they really just like need it, in a contract essentially or in written form, then this will do. But again, if you're trying to over deliver and you're trying to prove to them like they're gonna walk out of this feeling like they are really excited to work with you and it's gonna be a good working relationship, I would go and write a longer form scope, if you will, and like detail every little step, or just detail a little bit more than what I'm going to show you here. Okay, so example one, and I'm just going to use this example of like a funnel that has a pretty large scope. So for me, it's like building out a webinar funnel. That is a lot of work, and some people are like, oh, like that's pretty easy. Like, why are you charging 10, 15 grand and rev share? And it's like, I am going to tell you right here, okay? So again, I'm just going to use that as the example. Obviously, if you're only doing an email retainer or whatever, just figure out and list out everything you're going to do. Like if it's just the copy, say 2 to 3 emails, or if it's actually email and you're going to manage the list out all the little tangible things that you're going to be doing for that, okay? So I'm going to just do this example of building how I would kind of do a webinar funnel, and what that scope kind of looks like in a simple way, and then kind of going more in depth. Okay, so I wrote that up here. So this is, again, after the sales call, where you confirm or they say send over a proposal. I won't even lie, at the very beginning when I was just doing like email and I was really new to the game, I was sending proposals or scopes similar to this. Like it wasn't anything crazy because I didn't know any better, right? I didn't want to, okay, let me just get into it. So what's up, Nim? Stoked to get started. Here's the scope of the project, everything it's going to include, and like this is right. So webinar funnel, webinar presentation, webinar promo, emails and reminders, marketing automation, software management, strategy implementation for driving registrants, and 2 to 3 email campaigns per week. So webinar funnel is usually just these top 6 things. Is that 6? 6 things. But I just put email campaigns because I was also running email for them, right? So then I just said this will be X amount. If there's anything I need to add to this, let me know and I'll amend it. If everything looks good, send me some sort of confirmation. I'll get started right away. I'm not a lawyer, so don't come after me. But this is technically, I believe, 99% sure, this is technically, when you send an email like that, that is I don't know if it's binding necessarily, but it's a contract. It is an agreement. So that's why if everything looks good, send me a confirmation. That technically there is a contract, okay? And again, like now I have a contract I use, a template that I use for all of my clients, where it's like a little bit more professional, and it's been looked over by a lawyer and stuff. And so it's not just this email, but this is just an example. Like, this is literally what I would send at the very beginning, okay? When I was first getting started. So that's just one example. It's simple, it does the job, but I'm going to show you another example, and if you were to do this, you guys are going to see the difference, and it's ultimately going to allow you guys to probably charge more for your clients, and your clients are going to feel like they're like getting their money's worth. Or even though, yes, you're going to be doing the same thing, but the effort you put into the scope of a proposal can honestly dictate a lot of even the client's mindset about, like, maybe they're a little nervous, but after the proposal, it's like, it's pretty long, and you really put effort, and they're going to understand a little bit better, on paper, they can review it, whatever, and they're going to understand everything that you're going to be doing for them, okay? So it's really important. So again, I'm going to use the same webinar example, but let me write that out. Actually, before I do that, before I write this example, I think I want to give you guys some sort of template. Okay, so let me write that. Like, let me show you basically a longer form proposal and how I would build that out, or a framework of whatever. Okay, let me kind of go over that real quick. So just a general template. For longer form proposals. And again, like, this is the psychology behind longer form proposals. Like, the client is going to think they're getting more, even if it's the same amount of work. You're like, again, like, what the deliverable is not going to change, but the client might think like they're going to be getting more. Okay, so it's obvious, like, put more effort into your proposals. Okay, so first, let's go over how to even make a proposal or build out a scope. Okay, so let's figure out what is the goal of a proposal. Okay, one, we need to list out the goals of a client. Why? Because we need to get them to understand that we are the solution to their problem. Okay, and we are going to bridge the gap from their problem to their solution. Like, we are going to get them from having a problem to solving that problem. Okay, so list out the goals of the client. This also helps you establish authority. Okay, sorry, hold on. So, for example, like, this might be establishing authority. So maybe you're posting posting on more social media, and so you're gonna be able to establish more authority, get more recognition, whatever. Or maybe you're gonna get more leads from social media, or maybe you're gonna have you're gonna be SEO optimized, or whatever. Or maybe you're gonna get new clients from the website, get more calls, books from the funnel. Like, list out the goals of a client. So this is what I always do. I usually have like a AI like note taker while I'm on my meetings, and then I'll list out the deliverables. So, like, this just helps me kind of prep what I'm doing. Okay, and once you have taken enough calls and you kind of know deliverables, you probably don't need to do this, but I'm just saying, like, this is how I would get started. Okay, so let's get into the template. So let's just say 1. Again, list out goals of the client. This might look like, example, here are my recommendations, or here's my recommended strategy for business name based on you wanting to get X results. Or sorry, let me just put another. You could say this. Here's my recommended strategy for and again, this is like pretty short, but it's just like a template to give you guys an idea. With this strategy, we will work towards, and then goal. So something like that, okay? Number 2, list out deliverables, okay? So for deliverables, I'll just do like bullets. So like email flows, 2 to 3 email campaigns, Oh wait, actually, let me just write it for like what I would do for a webinar. Webinar funnel. Let me just copy and paste that real quick. Okay. So it would look something like that, like in the email. I'd probably I would probably tell them like what goes into the funnel, like how many pages that is and stuff, and like what pages. Okay, number 3, and this is obviously optional. This is more on the side. Okay, let's say they don't yet necessarily say yes, but they want you to send over a proposal. And this is again optional, but I think if you don't have a ton of case studies to back up your work, or you don't have a ton of results yet, this is a good way to not lose a potential client. Okay, so suggest a test project to ensure that you guys work together well. Okay, and then number 4 is basically how you want to basically tell them, it's almost, I don't even want to say conclusion, but you want to tell them how you work, what your work includes. Like maybe it's unlimited revisions, or maybe it's always revise before you send it to the client. Like this should happen anyways, but just like figure out how you kind of want to sell yourself a little bit. Like what does your work include? So tell them how you work, what your work includes, maybe like your strengths. I would say turnaround time. What else? Probably payment details and like next steps. Okay, so this is again just like a very brief general template. But let me kind of write up how I would make this longer form proposal for a webinar funnel, all right? So it's to be like, hey, example number 2. Hey, name. It was great meeting with you today. I'm excited to see what's in store, or I'm excited to see how I can be of service to you or help you, whatever. Now that I have a better understanding of your goals, I went ahead and put together a customized plan for you. Everything here is recommended with your goals in mind. And obviously, like, this is like, you can fluff it up if you want to. This is like pretty direct. So again, like, this is probably going to be a shorter-ish version of a long form proposal, but that's just because I don't have a ton of like fluff in there. So I'd say, okay, so then now we want to list out the deliverables. So I just say, like, you can do like business name, goals. Okay, there's a couple different ways you could probably do this, but I'm just going to say this, goals. Actually, let me just list out deliverables. So webinar funnel. And then I would like list the goals of all of this. So like, the funnel is going to collect leads. Order presentation is going to, let me see. Sorry, I was going back and forth on how I want to do this. I'm just going to say project includes, for simplistic sake. Sorry. Well, so webinar funnel to collect leads, because this is where they're going to opt in. So what does that include? Opt-in page. Okay, so actually I'm just going to name it registration page, post-registration page. You're going to have a sales page, or if you're doing a book a call funnel, it'd be book a call, or book a call on the webinar, book a call page. And then webinar presentation to present on the webinar, obviously. This ends up being like 200 slides of, I would add something like 200 slides, nurturing your audience on the business model, nurturing your audience to get them sold on the business model, you being the person to teach them, and believing that they can actually do it, because that's what goes into a webinar, right? Okay, what else? So then it goes email and SMS sequence. So for both, let me just separate. Usually I just put these together, but let me just separate them if we're just gonna really go into detail. So we're gonna have a 3 to 4 email flow. Again, getting them sold on the business model and the person hosting the webinar. Then you're also going to get reminders day of. So I would do 12 hours before, 2 hours, etc., etc. And then same thing for SMS. You're going to have SMS flow plus reminders. Then you're going to have marketing automations. So making sure when someone registers, they are tagged as a registrant, attendee, and just making sure the funnel works, right? Like, we want to make sure we're tagging everybody. We want to make sure everything is running smoothly. Software management. So to not go into too much detail, that's just including managing the email list, the Zapier, so the automation software, the Webinar Jam, moderating the webinars, all the ClickFunnels, making sure everything is working properly. So then software management, detail. Moderating the webinar, so being the person on the back end, etc. Okay, strategy. So coming up with ideation to get registrants. Okay, so project includes there. So now we've done this, we've listed out the deliverables, right? And then you could do a test project. So you could do a test project, but I'm just gonna go with the fact I'm gonna skip that part, okay? So for the above services, it will be $10,000 plus 10, let's just do 10% to make it easy. Rev share. So, okay, list out your prices, and then you could honestly do something like, for the above services, I usually charge, $12,000 plus 10% rev share. Then you could say, if this is your first time working with them, you could say, but since this is our first time working together, I am willing to do it for, or you could say, but if you're willing to if I get confirmation in 24 hours or 48 hours, I'm willing to do it to knock down that price and like kind of basically like lock in a client or whatever. Again, you don't have to say that, but basically you want to list your pricing strategy. I forgot to add, if you want, you can like add a case study. So basically like I've worked with X brand and helped them make 6 figures in their first month of running a webinar. You could add something like that here if you want to. But let's get into listing out the price. Then we're going to tell them how you work. Okay. I would say something like, my work always includes. So something like this, my work always includes, and this might not really, this is kind of applicable to a webinar, but like this is more of like I'm doing a website, but I just want to give you an example. My work always includes like in-depth market research. So like, yes, like that is part of your job as a copywriter, to do the market research and figure out the audience and like kind of build that voice for them. But you want to be able to tell them that, okay? And then formatting, that's super easy to read. Editing by a professional editor. Obviously, this is like only if that's actually true. But I just wanted to put like examples. Like my work always includes, and you can put it in bullets. I probably would just do sentences. But it kind of depends. It really doesn't matter. Just for ease sakes, I'm just going to show you that. Sorry. Okay. Now I'd say something like, how long will it take them? Like project timeline. I pride myself on working quickly, and am able to get this funnel set up in about 2 weeks once we get you onboarded, or like once it's like finalized. So again, just tell them a delivery. Okay, and now like payment details and next steps. I'm actually gonna just go back up here, like if like optional, but test project optional. If you did want to say like for a test project, or wait, actually I would put it under. Sorry, I apologize. This is kind of all over the place, but you're gonna just see how my brain works, okay? Test project optional. I suggest we start off with this test project to make sure we're a good fit. Again, my test project probably wouldn't be a webinar funnel, but this is like more if you're doing like email, or kind of get like doing, just doing email, or just doing like website copy, and then you want to like move to a retainer basis, okay? Like you're going to fix their copy, you're going to fix some flows, but then like to move, like they're not always going to need their website copy fixed. That's usually like a one-time thing. So it's like that could be the test project, but then to get them on retainer, like let's do their emails or whatever, run their emails, okay? Make sure we're a good fit. If you want to kick off ASAP, so you can get, I would just say like goal, i.e. more leads into your funnel and increased sales. I probably would use different verbiage than that, but just an example. You just want to say, so you can get X goal. I can get this done by X date. So if you want to do this test project, you can probably just put when you're going to do it, when the date is by that. Or I pride myself on working quickly and efficiently, and I'm able to get this funnel set up in about 2 weeks once we get you onboarded. Then I would say something like, you could go one of two ways, okay? Let me know if you're ready to get started, and I'll send you payment details. Because I know in my next lesson, I'm going to be talking about how, like, okay, once they say yes, how you send a proposal, and in that, or not proposal, how you send the contract, payment details, all that. Because I usually get them to, like, confirm, and then I'll send all that over. But you can do that kind of all in one email if you want to. And I'll send you payment details, the agreement, so like the contract, So yeah, something like that. So you can either say this, or you can say something like this, okay? Next steps, let me know if you're ready to get started. Sign the contract, complete invoice, complete onboarding questionnaire. Once these are completed, book a call on my link and I'll get started right away. So again, like, you can either have them confirm and then you'll send over all this stuff, which I'm going to talk about in the next video, or you can just do it in this email. It kind of just depends. But yeah, like, now you should understand, like, okay, so here's my first proposal or scope, right? But now it's like, okay, here's my other example. Like, you have my goals in mind, this project, and why we're doing all of these things, why every single thing is necessary, what you charge. My work always includes this. Like, I would probably, like, list your strengths here. And then turnaround time. Like, do you see how there's a lot of detail in this that is just helpful? Like, it just makes the relationship better, okay? And honestly, like, this email right here, this template is even probably, I don't want to say short because I don't know if that's the right word because it's obviously pretty, like, over a page long. But, like, I have seen proposals that are, anywhere from, like, 2, 3, 4, even up to 5 pages long, especially if you have, like, maybe they reached out to you and you gave them an audit and you need to fix XYZ, and the initial first project is fixing the website, but then it's like, okay, then we need to focus on this goal and make sure we're nurturing our customers and nurturing the leads that we get from the website. And this proposal is still relatively short. Like, there's not a ton of fluff in here. Like, there are definitely ways, like, you can make it longer, by detailing out even, like, payment schedules if you don't collect up front, just all sorts of things. But let me know if that's helpful. Like, I can go into other really long proposals I've seen and I've actually sent out for, like, really, really, really big clients that I think kind of want a longer proposal. Some of it will, like, just check out their vibe. Like, do they want to be reading all that? Sometimes, like, sometimes brand owners or business owners will want that really long proposal and see everything that they're going to get and all, like, the entire plan mapped out, So it's worth the time to put into building out a really good proposal and scope. So I hope this helped. Let me know if you guys have questions, per usual. And yeah, maybe I'll show you guys another example, but I don't want to spend too much time on it.